Hey cuties, my name's Kerry and this is my channel where I just make things that I love to make and things that bring me joy and I share it with you guys. So I haven't been on here for a little while. The last video, which I posted a few weeks ago, is from November last year. It is now June 2026 and I just wanted to share with you guys what I've been doing. I can't believe it's been that long. Time just evaporates and yeah, I've worked on a lot of things. I've given up on a lot of projects. I've picked up some new projects and I've just got some really cool things that I am working on at the moment that I really wanted to share with you. So the way that we are going to do this little podcast today is I'm going to go through the months from December to now and just chat to you a little bit about what I've been making and all the things that have been bringing me joy and all the things that, yeah, like I've given up on, things that I have acquired. But yeah, we're going to go through from December. I have a little notebook with all my little bits and bobs in it so that I don't forget anything. So we're going to start with December 2025. So in December last year, I had previously a few months beforehand purchased an advent calendar from James Makes Things, who is a indie yarn dyer over in the UK. He makes really, really beautiful, beautifully coloured yarn. I have a scrap bag of all of the yarn leftovers, but as you can see, let me take a couple out. The colours are just beautiful. Every single colour was just so unique. Like every colour just so unique, so beautifully hand dyed, so soft. I will get to this, but I did make this jumper that I'm currently wearing today out of the advent calendar. So we'll chat about that a little bit more in a minute. But in December, I was getting the beautiful advent calendar. Every day of December, I was opening up a new 20 gram DK skein. And it was just so fun, so joyful. Every day I was just like so excited. And I was just like so happy that I had, you know, invested in this really cool little like yarn advent that was just like a bit more exciting than chocolate. So that was really cool and I was so happy with that. I've actually purchased the one for this year as well. So that will be really exciting to get it in December. But yes, I got that in December and yeah, just beautiful. Everything was so beautiful. I also started a new project in December, or at least I attempted to start a new project in December. So I have this really beautiful yarn, which I showed you guys a few visits ago. So I have this really cute yarn from Bendigo Wool & Mills, which I showed you guys a few videos ago. It's like a tweedy. It's really lovely. They don't actually sell this anymore. So when I bought enough for something, I was so happy because yeah, they've got other colors and like another pink, but not quite this pink. So I really wanted to make a cardigan. I was like, I want to make a cardigan that's going to just be like, I'll pop it on, wear it whenever I feel like it. And because there's so many different flecks of color in this, I don't know. Yeah, so pretty. I was like, oh, that'll be perfect because it'll just like go with everything. So I started this cardigan. I've got like a video, maybe some photos of it. And, you know, it's the Acer cardigan. But I just wanted it to be like plain stockinette stitch. So I kind of was like altering it as I was going along. And then I like tried it on. I think I finished the top and was up to sleeves and I tried it on and it was just so big and I was like, this ain't right, because like I wanted something that's obviously going to be comfortable and like have a little bit of ease, but I didn't want it to be that big. And so I ended up frogging the whole thing and yeah, it was like a lot of work. And also a cardigan, you're not knitting in the round unless you're sticking it. So I was knitting back and forth and yeah, it was just a bit upsetting to be quite honest. And then I think I just kind of gave up on making garments for a bit because I was just like, I'm so sad about that. I've still got the yarn. I'll probably just make like a cool pullover or something with it that I can still wear with anything. But at the moment, yeah, that kind of just got frogged and that was that was a bit sad. And then for Christmas, I made my partner a pair of sailor slippers. I can't find them. I don't know where they are. So I can't show you the finished product in my hands, but I have got some photos. Now, I enjoyed knitting the sailor slippers, but I do think that I didn't use the right yarn. They recommended Drop Snow, and that's not really super accessible in Australia, or like it can be like a little bit more expensive. So I think they might actually not have had the colors that I wanted, because I wanted to make purple and green ones. And so I ended up just getting like a regular yarn that wasn't superwash. It was just like regular wool from Morris & Sons in a couple of different colors. And I just don't think, like, they felted okay, but I just don't think that they felted right. And it took forever. Like, I think I had to wash them like 5 or 6 times or something. And like the fit is still just not the best. Like, they are quite wide. A fun pattern to knit. I think if I had the yarn, I would probably knit a pair for myself. But yeah, I think I just didn't love the process of felting like a pair of shoes. I think if you were going to felt like a handbag or something, that would be fine. Like, I would be okay with that. But I think felting a pair of shoes, I don't know. I just wasn't like I wasn't super duper happy with them. But yeah, that's okay. That's fine. It is what it is. I made them. And I don't know what I'd give them out of 5. The pattern was fine. But yeah, I think just the felting process, I just didn't love, you know? Anyway, so that was December. So that was the end of the year. And then we go to January and February of this year. So in January, I got this wild idea that it would be really, really cool to knit my own dress, because I think I've seen people that make some really cool dresses like on Pinterest and Instagram and stuff. And I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to just like knit my own dress. And I started off by like looking at dresses on Ravelry, and I found the stripe hype dress, got that pattern, and then I started knitting it, and it was just so oversized. Like, it's a drop shoulder construction, top down. I was like really excited to kind of get lost in it. I was using my acrylic yarn because I just had so much, and I was like, it doesn't matter if this doesn't work out. But I just didn't love it. Like, it was just so oversized in like the arms and like on the shoulders, and just kind of droopy. I think I got to the increases. Maybe, I think I finished the bodice. And then I just was like, I don't like this. I want to make my own dress pattern. Which is a crazy thing for me to say as somebody that's, one, never written a knitting pattern before. Still relatively new to knitting, like a few years, and hasn't really knitted like a lot of garments. And I was just kind of like, yeah. And then so my hyperfixation for January was trying to figure out how to knit my own dress. Now, I grabbed a dress that I really, really love the style of. It's kind of like an A-line dress. So it kind of like fitted in the bodice and then flares out in the skirt. And I was like, this would be so cute as a knitted dress. I think it would look really cute. Like, I could put cool motifs in it, like do it in a bunch of colors. Like, I was so excited. And then like the way that I started out going about this is that I took elements from like shoulder construction and stuff that I've done in other garments and tried to implement it into this. So I was trying to figure out short row shaping, which was like a whole thing to like wrap my head around. But I kind of like, once I cracked it, I was so proud of it. So I like knitted these little sample shapes of like how I needed the shoulders to be, and then figured out how to knit it together. And then I knit it together and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've done this. Now, I've like made dress patterns and stuff in the past. So construction of a garment isn't a totally new thing to me, but like construction of a garment where you're making it out of yarn or essentially a piece of string is a big thing like that I haven't done before. So I was so happy when like I figured out how I wanted the shoulder construction to be. And I worked on this continual, like it like kept me up at night. Like, I was just like, I need to figure out how to do this. So I think I worked on that for most of January, and then I started knitting the sample out of like wool, like good yarn. Actually, I might have it here. Where are ya? Okay, it was just amongst all of the stuff. So this is the dress. So yeah, I was working on this, I think, most of January. Loved it. Got to the increases in the skirt and figured out a way to do the side increases without it being like super duper obvious. I don't know, I might have unraveled. Oh no, I've got some. You can kind of see, yeah, how to kind of do them like invisible. So I like had some practice up the top. And you could kind of see like up here, like how the stitches you could kind of tell, but then down the bottom they're more invisible. So I sort of figured out how to do the invisible increases and was really, really happy with how it turned out. But then I just lost all motivation and decided that I didn't want to work on that anymore, because I bought the yarn for it at like a cheap rate from Spotlight. And it was so soft, and I was like, this will be so amazing. Maybe I'll dye it afterwards. But then the idea of like making this whole garment that wasn't out of yarn that I liked, and having to dye it, and then what if I dyed it and it didn't come out right? It all felt so overwhelming that I decided that I just wouldn't complete it. I still should, I think, continue on, because I think it could be a very, very cool dress pattern. But I think at the time, it just, yeah, I just kind of lost interest in it, which is so funny because it kept me up at night trying to like figure out how to do it. And then I decided that, you know what, I can't be bothered anymore. So, yeah, I think that that's like still something I'd want to work on, but it will be like a back burner project. Loved working in the round, like so fun. Very much a mindless project. So I think once I find like yarn that I like enough and that isn't at like a crazy price point, that I want to make a sample out of, I think I will still potentially make that. And I think that there's another way for me to do the short row shaping in the shoulders that I want to kind of like look at a little bit more. It's all part of the process, you know. I'll try it out in the future, and maybe it will potentially be a pattern. My idea for it was like it would be cool to have like a charcoal colored like dress and then have like stars on it, or like kind of like night sky imagery. I just think that would be really, really cool. It's not something I've seen before. It's something I would definitely wear. But yeah, making the pattern myself, I think yay. But then I think about having to like grade the patterns, because I'd want the patterns to be size inclusive, and there's just a lot that goes on with it. I think I just felt overwhelmed in the end. But it will be a project that I think about and look at more in the future, when I'm feeling like challenging myself. Okay, now we're going to go to acquisitions for January and February. So I got one of the best things in January. There is a maker, I think she's over in America, and she does chain stitching, and she released these hats. Knitter. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I love this. I need this hat. I want to wear it. But I live in Australia, and she's not currently shipping to Australia. So I ended up getting like a third party like thing to ship this to me. It took ages, but it is here. And it's just the best. Like, how pretty is that chain stitching? And it's just like incredible. I just love it. And when I got it, I was so happy. I was just sitting on the couch knitting. It was just the best. So yeah, got that really, really cute hat. And then I was just so in love with my advent that I got from James Makes Yarn over in the UK that I had to get, he was doing every month this year, he's been doing blind date with the Skein. So you just get sent, it's like a blind box essentially of yarn, and you get sent it. And I just was like really missing the fact that like all December I had opened every day a little like package of yarn, and I was like, oh, I'm really sad that that's over. And so I bought January and February's blind date. So this is January's. So pretty, like hot pink, yellow, blue, and the colorway is Roller Disco. And I got it in DK. Not sure what I'm gonna make with this yet. I'm thinking some sort of accessory. Like I would really like to make like a cute little scarf. But until then it's on my wall looking pretty. And then I also got February's, which is like this blue, green, purple situation. The colorway is Movie Night, but like even together, like how pretty do they look? Yeah, so really happy with those acquisitions. I think like, yeah, I was really happy with the yarn, and it just like got me so excited for James advent calendar. I think I'll probably buy it every year, to be honest, because his colors are just so beautiful, and I just don't think you could ever be disappointed by them, you know? So now we come to March. Now in January to March, I was traveling a lot with my partner. Every month we were going kind of like a little bit rural, because we live in Victoria, we live in Melbourne. My partner's in a band, and he has a lot of gigs that are kind of like out of town. And we went to Geelong, we went to Ballarat, and then we went to Bendigo. And I was really excited to go to Bendigo because I was like, let's go to the yarn shop. So we went to Bendigo Woolen Mills, who are a company that I love to buy yarn from because the price is very good for what it is. And I also just love supporting Australian businesses, and it's Australian run mill, you know, like that's really lovely. And yeah, their shop's amazing, and like seeing the colors, I'd already bought so much online from them, but I was just so excited to like go into the shop and have a little looky. And so we went to Bendigo, we spent the night there. My partner had his gig, and then the next day we went to the yarn store, and yeah, it was really great. I ended up getting this really gorgeous yarn. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on here, but it's like, it's a very bright red, but it's also got like this tiny fleck of pink in it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I need this. Because I had this idea that I wanted to make the Storm sweater by Petite Knit. And I had been looking for like a bright color that would like do the pattern justice, because it's like a texture. And when I came across this, I was like, oh my God, I have to buy enough. So it was only $16 for 200 meters, for 200 grams, sorry. So that's 400 meters of DK yarn for $16. Like you couldn't get any better than that. So I ended up buying a bunch of that because I just like didn't want to miss out. And this isn't a color that they had online. This was like in their back room kind of like warehouse situation, and I was like, I need this. So happy with that. I've got enough of that. Haven't started it yet, but my intention was to make the Storm sweater, like I said, but I don't know if I will now. I might just make like a cute pullover or a cardigan out of it, because I think it would be really good for that. I'm really talking, so I hope you guys are enjoying this. So in March, the other thing that I did was I started this sweater. Now I will show you guys in a second, but this is my Advent make from the 2025 James Makes Things Advent calendar. So what I made was the front porch pullover by Andrea Gaughan. Really awesome pattern. As soon as I saw it like months ago, I was like, I love this. This will be like a really great basic and pretty easy knit, to be honest. But I wanted to obviously celebrate all of the different colorways. So I made this jumper in, so I made this pattern but with like this little wave effect. So I'll show you guys the jumper. Pretty cute, pretty cute. I did a contrast bind off. So like I did a couple of rows of this contrast color and then I bound off in the color. I did the same on the cuffs and on the neckline here. But yeah, I did it in like this little wavy situation. It just, yeah, it came out really, really cute. I'm so happy with how it came out. I love it. It's really cozy, really comfortable. I also, this color, so this isn't black, this is like a charcoal color, which I hunted everywhere for. And I got it from Bendigo Woolen Mills. They have this really super fine merino, and it's just so, so soft, called Whisper in 8 ply in the charcoal color. And I just didn't want it to be black because I feel like black against like bright colors, I feel like can be a bit intense. And so I was like, let's get this charcoal color. And it just came out amazing. I love this jumper so much. So comfortable. And yeah, I've worn it a bunch over the last couple of months because it's just really nice. And it's like the first garment that I've made that I just really love and I just want to wear. And I'm going to wear this to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Festival in a couple of months. Next month, actually. Yeah, I'm just really, really happy with this. And just the celebration of colour. They're all really bright. They're all really beautiful. I'm just really, really happy with how it turned out. So I started that in March and I finished it in May, maybe the end of April. So it took me like a little bit over a month to make, but I also just really loved the color work. It was just really, really fun. It was a joy. I'd finish one color, go into the charcoal, and then I'd be like, I need to put another color on because I need to see how it looks. Like, it was just really fun, really, really fun project. And then in March, I also worked on a bunch of Grump stuff. So I've got a small clothing label that I started back in like 2018, and it's kind of had like years where it's been really busy, years where it's been really quiet because I haven't released anything. And yeah, I decided to release something in January, but in March I decided that I needed to get some more samples printed and like made and things. So I was working on that, I was working on this design, and yeah, behind the scenes just kind of like doing a lot. I also came up with this fabric print, which I think is something that I might release in the future because I really wanted to make some sort of quilted print, and like patchwork print rather. And I just like wanted to put some like cute little bits and pieces in there and some cute patterns. So I'm hopeful that that will potentially become something, but I'm still having trouble with my suppliers. I'm trying to find the right fabric manufacturer, fabric printer, and I just want the quality to be really beautiful and lovely, and I want everything to be size inclusive, and I've got all of these things that I need to tick, and there aren't a lot of manufacturers that are willing to work with me on it. So I just need to find the right manufacturer, and that takes time. So yeah, I spent most of March kind of doing that, knitting on this, and yeah, just traveling around with my partner. It was really fun. And then in April, so I must have finished this because once I finished this, I decided, okay, I've got this big bag of scraps left. I didn't know what to do. Still don't know what to do with the big bag of scraps from my advent calendar. And then I knitted my first sock from the Sock Project pattern book by Summer Lee. I think this is like the Shorty DK socks from what I remember, but I think I made them a bit longer than what she wanted. Anyway, I'd never knit a sock before and I just wanted to have a go. So I thought, well, I'll use the DK weight yarn because they'll be thicker. It'll also go quicker, and I think I won't be like as scared because like the needles aren't so little. Yeah, so this is how it turned out. Very, very cute. I've got it on like a little blocker thing that my partner 3D printed me because I just wanted to have it on display as like my first sock that I'd ever made. But yeah, the colors, like very, very fun, very cool. This is a short row heel. Yeah, for the first sock go, pretty good. It fit me really well. But I think I just want it more on display than in anything else. So that's been on my little display board, which is really fun, just to like display the colors of the yarn from the advent, and also to display like the first sock I've ever knit. So that was really, really cool. And then I also got in April, I bought this from Spotlight. This would probably be very good yarn to make the sailor slippers with, but I bought it because I am obsessed with this colorway at the moment, which is like coral. God, that looks so fluoro. Coral and like a lavender purple. This was Abbey Road Born to Be Wild, and they were on sale in Spotlight, and I just got a ball of each because I was like, this would be really cool to maybe make like a felted bag, like with stripes or something. Like I said, I don't really like the process of felting, but I think because this kind of yarn isn't really like woven, I want to say. And so I think it would felt really, really nicely. So I bought them. They've been hanging on my wall because, you know, just indecisive about what I'm going to make with it, but I like having the colors on it because I think it looks really cute. So that was April. Like I said, nothing really much happened in April, and I didn't really buy too much yarn because I had just finished this. I did work on this. Can I get it off? I also like was loving, I was kind of on a high from the color work of working on this, that one of the people that I follow on Instagram, Picky Femme, worked with Pom Pom to make a scrappy sweater, scrappy check sweater. I can't remember what it's called. I was like, oh, I want to make that, but maybe do like similar as to what I did with this jumper. So maybe make the front porch pullover, but with like scrappy color work in the checkers, because I really like the checkers that she does. I think it's like really, really cool. So I picked some colors and I did this swatch. Yeah, pretty cool. I freaking love, so obsessed with like this reddy orange color. Oh, I love it. And I think this would make a very cute jumper, but once again, decision paralysis is has kind of got the best of me, if I'm honest, and I haven't made anything. I've got most of the yarn to start that project if I really wanted to, but I think like just decision paralysis. I love the colors that I picked, but I was like, oh, are there going to be color combinations out there that I'm going to like better? So I just gave up. Common theme when I'm overwhelmed, giving up on the things. Okay, now we come to May. May was actually quite a chock-a-block, quite a chock-a-block month with yarn, and like I went to 2 different shows. So there was a show in Mooroolbark, which is a suburb in Melbourne, and we went there. Yeah, so we went to the show. I didn't end up buying too much actually. This is the yarn that I bought. So I bought 2 skeins from Maxi Moo. One of them I wanted to knit my partner a pair of socks, and I got him to pick out this yellowy color called Power Surge in the sock yarn, and then I also got this sour strap color for me because I just thought it was really cool and I thought it would also make a really cool pair of socks. And then I got this color of Hedgehog Fibers sock yarn to make me another pair of socks. So really I just bought yarn to make socks because I had so much fun the month prior making my scrappy sock, and I thought, ooh, I want to actually make socks for me and my partner. So that is what I did with that yarn, or that's what I've started to do with that yarn. And So yeah, I made these socks for my partner. They came out really, really well. I did like a little wrap-up video of me knitting them over time, and I think they just came out really great. He's really happy with them. The colorway is really cool. Like, there was no color pooling, which whenever people have hand-dyed yarn and there's no color pooling, I'm really surprised, because like, how does that work? Anyway, so they came out really, really good. And then I also started dyeing my own yarn. So last year I like just had this obsession with yarn. Obviously I've had the obsession for like over a year now, but it's kind of like gone in and out of, as well as like dyeing yarn, because like I see all of these beautiful color combinations that people do, and I love, love, love to support them. But then my own like wanting to know how it's done and like how it's made, and like just like my own creativity, like I'd love to express it in that way. So I've had a few like different dyes and things over the last year, and it wasn't until we moved into this house in October last year that I was like, okay, I've actually got space to potentially dye if I want to. So I've been doing a bunch of little experiments here and there, and I've got some pickies of like swatches that I've knit, things that I've dyed, and yeah, I've just really, really loved the process. It's really fun and like creative, and sometimes frustrating, because you've got an idea in your head and you're hoping that the color comes out a certain way and it doesn't. And water is a huge variable. If you add too much water, it's gonna like sometimes get really muddy, or sometimes it'll come out magic, and like it's just a very steep learning curve. But I'm really, really enjoying it, and I've got like a little setup now in the laundry where I can like dye bits and pieces. I've got a pegboard like this one behind me in there, and my partner's been 3D printing out little bits so that I can like have everything really organized, and it's been, yeah, really, really cool. It's slow going, and like I may potentially want to like dye smaller batches and sell them, but it would be very little, and at the moment I think I'm just happy dyeing bits and pieces for myself. I have got some really lovely base yarn from Nunda Woolen Mills in New South Wales, which like I love supporting Australian businesses, and the quality is really lovely and soft, and yeah, it's taken the color really, really amazingly. So it's been really fun to kind of, you know, just work with yarn in another way and like be able to unleash my creativity in that way as well has been really, really cool. And if you dye 100 grams of something in a colorway that's just like so unique, you can still make something out of it, and that's really cool. So yeah, then in May, the end of May, I went to another yarn show with my auntie, and we just like wandered around. I only bought a couple of bits from that, because when I started dyeing my own yarn, I kind of like, if there was a simple yarn that I really loved, I was like, oh, I could dye that myself. And like, I love supporting Australian businesses, and I will continue to do that. But if there's like a colorway or something that like I really, really love, but I know that I could potentially make it for myself, I may do that. But that's purely just because like, you know, I might see something as well that's a really lovely color, but I want it to be slightly different. Yeah, so like inspired by other people, but I don't know, I just like wanna figure it out for myself and like make it myself, you know. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there will understand that sometimes you just want to make something yourself. So yeah, we went to this other yarn show, and it was, I think it's run by like Victoria's Guild of Knitters or something, and it was really lovely. I wore this jumper and had so many lovely comments on it, and somebody was like, oh, I want to make a jumper like that, like what is it? And I told them all the details, and some of like the yarn shop owners were asking me about it, and yeah, it was really, really lovely and really sweet, and had a really nice time. I found this yarn, this pink and this like blood orange colored yarn that I really, really wanted to buy, but they didn't have enough there for like a sweater quantity or whatever, and I couldn't figure out what I would want to make anyway, but the pink was just like the most perfect lolly pink, and the orange is just like the most perfect red orange, and like together I was just like, oh, I love these colors. But I just couldn't, I think it was almost $40 for the 100 grams. And I think I was just like, I can't justify that, you know, when like, I feel like I could potentially make my own pink and like blood orange. But I will show you what I bought. I think I spent $30 and I was just like so happy so that I spent that little. So I got this yarn. Now I usually knit with just like wool because I am quite allergic to a lot of animals, and wool's been okay, like 100% wool's been okay. But I haven't tried alpaca or anything else because or even like mohair, because I'm worried that it might like flare up my allergies. But I saw the color of this and I had to get it. I was like, that is beautiful. And then I touched it and I was like, oh my God. So it's by a brand called Camarose. Snefnug is what it's called. So it's 55% baby alpaca, 35% organic cotton, and 10% fine merino wool. I just got one because I was like, I don't know what I'd knit with this, and it's also quite thick. So I didn't know, but it was just like so pretty, and I was like, I need to get this and just like make a swatch or figure out a pattern or something before I buy any more. And I can buy some more online, so that was fine. So I got that, so that's added to my stash. I also just got a couple more like little heart markers from Mutton Bird Yarns. I have some purple ones, but I wanted to get some like different color love hearts so that I'd know the difference between like the end of a row and like the middle of a row. And then I also got, because I was deep into my sock knitting, I also got this very cute little bag with sheeps on it. This was only $10, which I just was like, yes, because it's somebody hand making something, it's extra special. Absolutely. And then the inside is another pattern, and yeah, it's just like perfect for like a cake of yarn, needles, some of your notions, and the project that you're working on, so like a sock. So happy with those little bits and bobs that I got when I was there. And like I said, I spent $30, and for me, I was really proud of that, because I've gone to yarn shows and spent, you know, $250 when I really didn't need to. So yeah, I was really happy with how that worked out. Now we come to June. Now I've been working kind of slowly in the background. One of my friends is getting married at the end of the year, and I have made a few wedding dresses in my time, and just as dresses in general, and like pattern made things, and I am working on making a wedding dress for my friend. So, well, actually 2 wedding dresses. She's split the wedding. She's having a wedding one day and a reception the next day, and I'm making 2 dresses for her. So I've been like working on that as well in the background, little bits and pieces here and there. I sent the first like very rough sample to her the other day, and hopefully I can have a little chat to her this weekend about how the fit is, and then things that we need to add and change and things like that. So I've been working on that, and I also just the other day started making a sock with the yarn that I got a couple of months ago from Hedgehog Fibers, and I made this little cutie. So this is in the colorway Piggy Bank, 4-ply sock yarn. The color's pulled a little bit, but honestly, I think it looks really great. It came out so well. Will this focus? It came out so well. It fits like amazingly. This is just the, I think, basic sock number 1, and I did a heel flap and gusset, which also is what I made with my partner's sock, so I felt like confident in doing the heel flap and gusset, and it came out really well. Like, yeah, fits amazing. I need to make the second one. I also wanted to show you my partner 3D prints all these really nifty things for me, and he printed me this little blocking sock situation. And like, I love that it's got a little hanger because it can be wet and I can hang it outside for it to dry, and also like the holes mean that it will dry really easily too. With this file, I don't know a lot about 3D printing, but the length is what like you kind of add on for the different files. But yeah, it's very cool. I've got one on there. I just need to get the other one on there, and then I can block them and dry them and wear them. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how that little sock came out. What I'm currently working on, I don't actually have too much on the needles. I need to work on that second sock, which hopefully will only take me like a week or something. I really love sock knitting. I never thought I would, but I love the tiny needles. I love the tiny circulars, and I just really, really enjoy how quickly it knits up. And like, yeah, it's so cool. It's so incredibly cool. So I will work on the second sock for that. And I've also set myself a bit of a challenge. I'm going to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show in July with my mum. She's coming down from Queensland, and we are going to stay in Bendigo for a couple of days. And my plan was to wear I wanted to wear this jumper to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show, and it's completed. Yay, I'm gonna wear it. So that's awesome. And then the other day I was thinking, what if I made something else to wear to the Bendigo Sheep and Wool show? I've only got a month and a few days, and there is something I was like, oh, that would be really cool. So I've been dyeing yarn, as I said, but I've found this, I've discovered this really cool colorway that I can make, and I really love it. And the way that it knits up is really cool and really fun, and does suit kind of like my style of clothing. So I will show you now what that is. So I've caked up a few skeins, so I've only got one skein to show you, but this is it. If I was to sell this, don't know what I'd call it, but the colors are very cool. They're all kind of neon colors. I'm pretty sure they're all UV, but it's essentially black with a bunch of pops of colors. And I've done this, I did this colorway a few times because there were different ways I could do it. The colors could be closer together, etc. But I think I've nailed it now on how I like it. So yeah, gosh, it's pretty. This is how it knit up in a swatch, and then this made me go, oh my gosh, I love it. So it's just like black with just amazing pops of color. Like, this just looks so cool. And not something that I see a lot. I see like white with pops of color, black with pops of color. You don't see a lot. It's quite hard to dye, honestly, like just an involved process. But also, I'm really happy with my swatch. Did a swatch with like the little garter stitch edges. Look at me, watch out. But yeah, that came out really, really well. And then I was like, oh, what could I make for the show? Because I'd love to like knit a sample. If I was potentially going to sell yarn, I want to knit a sample and also like wear the yarn, see if I like how it like wears, the softness of it in a garment, etc. So I was like, I know, because I love to do this to myself, I will make myself a jumper out of my hand dyed yarn. Now that sounds crazy, and I've only dyed 3, maybe 4 skeins of this yarn, and I'd probably need 6. But that's what I'm doing, and or at least I'm attempting to. I started it the other day. I'm gonna make the Daft Days cardigan by Creabea. Rachel makes really lovely, I think her name's Rachel, makes really lovely patterns I've tried a few in the past but unraveled them because I picked the wrong size or whatever. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I picked the Daft Days cardigan because it was the only cardigan that I could find that had a round neck, is a DK weight, is the size needles that I want to use, is also a drop sleeve construction, and it's not top down, it's bottom up. But I couldn't find a top down version that had like drop sleeve, wasn't too boxy. Like this one's actually kind of like fitted, and like it was really hard for me to find. I couldn't believe it. And then even like the Daft Days pattern, it's got like a textured stitch in there, and I'm not doing a textured stitch. I'm just going to do a stockinette stitch. But it seemed crazy that like I couldn't find just like a regular cardigan thing. And I was like, oh, I could make a jumper and then just steek it. But I haven't steeked before, and that just seems like crazy to do that, especially like with not much time. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this. So I started it the other day. It fits in this, which is like my little sock project bag, but it fits in there because I've started at the ribbing. Now, this is gonna be a challenge for me because most of the things I've knit lately have been top down. Like I love a top down construction. I love being able to try things on as you're making it. Like that's really fun and awesome to me. And this is just like, oh my God, I need to do pretty much like the whole body in stockinette before I can like do anything else. And I think that that's going to very much mentally challenge me. And it already has started because I cast on 260 stitches basically the other night, and I was like, oh God. And then I started knitting the ribbing, and like it's taken a long time, tell you what. I feel like with my jumper, my colourful jumper, you can't really see, but I'll just fold this over. But this is how the ribbing is looking at the mo. The colours are so close together because, you know, ribbing is like densely packed. At the moment, I'm not sure I'm really loving it. I don't think I love it right now. Just because the colours are densely packed. I think like when I've got like the stockinette there, yeah, when you've got like the stockinette there, maybe I'll like that more. And then I was like, should I have done just like a basic plain colored black ribbing? I don't know. And then last night I was just kind of like knitting back and forth, and I thought, oh God, I don't know about this. I think I still want to knit it. I think it would be a really cool cardigan, but then I was like, what will I even wear with this? Like, there's just so many colours. Is it too many? Because my thought was, there's so many colours in there, I can wear anything with it. But now I'm like knitting it, I'm like, I don't know about this. So my thoughts are unsure. I think I want to try and keep going. But it's a lot of effort to put into something that you're not sure if you like 100% like or not. And then I was like, oh, instead of just like using the yarn that I've dyed myself, should I finally make just like a pullover in one of these yarns? Because I've got enough to make a jumper. It would be really cute. It would also be different than what I'm wearing at the moment. Like maybe it'll be nice to have something that's a little bit more like neutral to wear on my second day at the show, rather than this, which is like just like bright colors as well. So I'm like, do I abandon this and do one of these? I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Maybe I'll knit this until there's some stock in it and then decide. I don't know. So I'm undecided, like always, and I'll stress about it until I fall asleep at night, which is generally what happens. But yeah, really love these yarns. I think no matter what I make, like it'll be amazing. Yeah, like I'll wear it a lot. The colors will be nice. Like I'll find something cute to wear with it, you know, like it'll be fun. And then if I decide that I don't want to knit this for the show, I'll just knit it as a sample, and it'll be like I'll still wear it, and it'll be like an example of, you know, the yarn that I'm dyeing. So that's it. I think that's where we're at. I've talked for a really long time. I need a drink. But yeah, just it's been a few months of just, yeah, kind of chasing the joy and like doing whatever I kind of feel like at the time makes me happy. I've been meaning to update you guys, but I just haven't found the time, or like haven't been bothered. But I want to try and do, yeah, just like a little monthly catch up. You know, I can give you guys some more like in-depth details as to what I'm doing and what I'm working on as the months go by, rather than every 6 months just giving you a little update of little bits that I've done. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being a little bit more consistent and just sharing a little bit more, honestly. I love the community that's built in these spaces, and I think knitting is such a beautiful and lovely supportive community, and I just want this to be a safe space for people to share things and for people to see what I'm making, and we can chat about it. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you guys have a lovely afternoon no matter what you're doing, and I hope you're enjoying what you're working on at the moment, and I'll see you hopefully next month for another update on all the things that I'm making. Bye!